So, pag-usapan natin ngayon is utang na loob. And I'm not sure if you guys can hear me 100%, but sa Pilipinas, meron isang kultura tungkol sa pera. Tsaka pag nag-anak ang mga magulang, meron naman mga beses na para sa pera lang yung anak. So, meron naman mga taong nagpadala ng anak sa ibang bansa para mag-earn ng pera, para magpadala ulit sa mga magulang. And so they'll send their children to another country just to earn money and send it back home. May kaibigan ako na walang totoong gawin sa buhay bukod sa trabaho. Tsaka wala akong masabi sa kanya kasi marami kong sinabi tungkol sa ganyan. Wala siyang magawa sa sitwasyon na ganyan kasi marami siyang irespeto sa kanilang magulang. And so he's not willing to, fight back the urge to think about himself, because he's thinking about his family. And people talk about, well, your parents caused you to live, and so you owe them everything. Well, something to think about is, yes, of course, you owe so much to your parents, especially when they were good to you. But let me just share my perspective, because I definitely do want to bless my parents in a way. I want to become wealthy in such a way that will benefit them in a great way. And there's no problem with that. That's a personal choice. But I think that it should be just that, a personal choice. I don't think it's right to force your child to pay what they owe. I mean, you're not a debtor. They did not choose to be born. You decided to get freaky one night. And then they popped out. And so, sorry to say it that way, but that's just kind of how it is, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be forced to do that. It's your own choice. And personally, for me, I do want to wait a long time before I do begin paying them back, because honestly, at this point, there's no way that I can pay them back. But imagine, let's say you're a multimillionaire and you did everything you could to become a multimillionaire, and you showed your parents that they raised someone correctly, because naging mamayaman, hindi yan madali, pero kumanda ka na para sa buhay, and then there's no worry, there's no worry that you're gonna be okay, but not only that, you're gonna make sure that they're okay. And so, for one, I want to be able to, rather than just sending them money on occasion, like every month, sending them a portion of my paycheck, or sending what's called a balikbayan box. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a box full of gifts from family members living in the, Western country, whatever it may be. For me, it's the United States, back home to the Philippines, so that they can enjoy things. And that can get kind of really expensive because shipping costs are high. And I don't really think it's a healthy habit. It's a cultural thing, but my personal opinion on that is that it can wait. I mean, this is the United States. This is the United States of America, the land of free enterprise, which means that you have the opportunity to become a multimillionaire if you do the work that it takes to do that. Some people have to work harder than others. That's how it is. But you can absolutely earn exactly what someone else has. And so, but you can't really do that unless you stay on a budget. Because if you're spending money left and right, then that shows you have zero self-control, and you can't save anything. You can't have the money that it would take to buy a house or something crazy like that. Like for me, I want to buy my parents a house someday. I want to buy my own house and then buy them their own farmland. And I can't do that if I'm just like getting drunk on the weekends like most people do. And so my advice for every OFW, and I'm sorry this vlog is mostly English right now, so if you need help, ask somebody. Because it's in the sun, it's in the heat. Like I said, it's very raw this time. But my advice for every single OFW is, and again, you don't have to do what I say, but if you want to be successful in what you're doing, then this is my best advice. As someone who's kind of more playing in the long game, as they call it, you need to think about the future more than right now, because there's going to be things that of course you want right now, because you're going to say, gusto ko ice cream, gusto ko Chinese food, gusto ko Chipotle, gusto ko kapbap. I'm going to talk about that at a different time. But, it doesn't really make sense to just fund your immediate pleasures when you could use the same amount of money, save most of it, and with literally like maybe 1/10, spend money on like cooking ingredients. Learn how to cook at home. Learn how to use the thrift store. Learn how to use the thrift store. And, just learn how to save your money wisely, because you're going to be able to bless your parents a lot more in the future if you're careful and you become something. Imagine, people talk about their parents complaining about like, oh, well, you could have been a doctor, you could have been a lawyer. Well, yeah, they could have been if they weren't spending their money on your lazy ass gambling on drugs and things like that. And I'm going to go back to this friend of mine who I was talking about. He's from a city that's not exactly all that wealthy in the Philippines, and so his parents sent them here. And basically, as far as I know, they're not spending it on paying off their debt, which they have because they have a business and they have a large amount of debt. And so what did they do? They send their child to the States, and they have them send them money so that they can spend it on drugs, weed, alcohol, gambling, all sorts of bullshit that does not last. And so that just pisses me off. And if you're a parent like that, shame on you. But again, I can't tell anybody how to legally raise their child. I can just raise awareness about some stupid shit that should not be happening. And that's one thing that pisses me off, is when people abuse their children. That's literally child abuse. That's why it's called that. And to be able to bless your parents is a decision. Being a parent is a decision. You decide to raise your kids, and it's a responsibility. You know what I mean? It's a responsibility to raise children in the way that you desire to. As long as you're not doing anything that would get CPS called on your ass. But as long as you're nurturing them in a certain way that will raise them to be a good person, that is where the payoff should be, not money. Anyway, but don't use your kids as a retirement plan. That's fucked up. So for those of you who are going through a situation like that, make sure that it's actually your decision, because I know, I don't know what else I can say. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. But have a nice day. Thanks for tuning into the vlog. Peace out. Mabuhay, and stay sarap.